breaking news over the last 24 hours. Before we get more into Manchester City and Arsenal, and these two might be at it for the next few hours. You might have heard of a certain return of a all-time great in world football, an icon at Manchester United. Cristiano Ronaldo is on the verge of sealing 100% his seal to Manchester United. It is subject, of course, to a medical as things stand. But how good news is that for everyone involved, not just for United, but for the Premier League as well?
Of course, for the Premier League, it's amazing. With Cristiano's pull, going to Man United, arguably one of the most supported teams in the world, alongside Real Madrid and Barcelona. But I think it's a great signing for them simply because of what he brings. We're talking about a striker, of course, Cristiano Ronaldo, going back to a place which he's very fond of, but he's got 29 goals last season in Serie A. He's still very fit. It's a great fit for them simply because, for instance, someone like Cavani, he will go with Uruguay. The South Americans do not turn up for their duty, so he'll come in and he's still potent. He's still capable of 15, 20 goals if he's playing. The signing makes sense. I know when Thierry came back to Arsenal, the FA Cup, he scored a couple of goals, but he was coming from the MLS and he's coming from Serie A, top goal scorer, and still at the height of his powers. I think it's great for them young Man United fans, really young ones. All of a sudden, Cristiano Ronaldo's come back. I suppose he's very, very excited as well.
Sean, you would have played against him. And dare I say, there'll be a fair few defenders who won't relish going up against even a 36-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo.
No chance. Like Dad said, he scored 20-plus goals for the last 12 years consistently, and not many strikers at the top level can say they've done that. And everywhere he's gone, he's achieved what he went there to achieve, and that's to be the best. And I think when he's come back to Man United now, if all things going well, he will have that same mentality and that same drive to produce what he did before. The only difference is, for me, he'll be playing more as a number 9 than a winger. But there was a few times, like the time I was at Chelsea, and we had Man United in a cup final, and the day before the game, Mourinho came to me and said to me, "Look, Sean, I know you like to attack, but I'm going to ask you to do one thing. Can you think about defending with Paulo Ferreira more than attack?" And that's what we did, and we kind of nullified him, and we ended up winning 1-0. But that's going to happen a lot to him this year, that wingers are going to be asked to be doing a different job to what they're normally used to, because to stop him. So
I think he'll be down the middle. I think
he'll be down the middle.
Yeah. I think when you've seen how he's played recently, when you see how he plays for Portugal and that, he'll come off, he'll go up for, and plus he's a massive threat in the air for Man United as well in the box now. It's the kind of signing where, of course, if you can get him, because reading the stuff before, when he nearly went to City, which was he's getting hammered by United fans. All of a sudden, you know what I mean?
Actually, now that's what I wanted to ask Sean about, because interestingly, in the newspaper reports this morning here in the UK, they're talking about the timeline that led to Manchester United eventually snaring Ronaldo, because City clearly were at one point under the impression that they might have a chance to get him. Now, whether it's the agent who's been playing a cute game here, he eventually then signed for the side, of course, where he made his name at United. Were you excited at the prospect of Ronaldo possibly coming to City?
How could you not be? Do you know what I mean? You know what he's going to give you, and for me, is a type of player that City need in a way, that number 9 that's going to get you 15 to 20 goals a season. But going back to, like you said, the agent part, it was all smoke and mirrors. I think that coming in the paper kicked Man United into gear to make it happen quickly, and that's basically what's happened.
So disappointed. You've got your dad just basically working on you here, but you disappointed in some respects that, City have almost actually ended the week now empty-handed, haven't they?
No, I wouldn't say I'm disappointed. It would have been great for him or any striker at the minute to come to City, but I think at the minute, like, we know how City play. Like, they only really it doesn't necessarily need to be a striker of the stature of Ronaldo or Haaland or Kane for me. I think City create that much chances. If they get a striker that scores 15 goals, he'll most probably score 20 goals because he'll get 2 or 3 chances a game. So I think there's still time to make that play.
He's just saying that he would have taken Ronaldo or Kane. He's just towing the line down the party line, like, we'll be okay. But it's true. I can't disagree with him in respect of City creating those chances, but there's somewhere down the line. The City fans wanted to tease United fans that him going there.
Yeah.
And plus with the Harry Kane not going there as well, it does seem a little bit of a downer for City for me, a little bit of a downer.
Yeah, well, let's find out how it's gone down in Manchester. Ian Irving's our reporter ahead of City against Arsenal at the Etihad Stadium. Now, Ian, you live in Manchester. What has this done to both halves of the city?
Well, put it this way, Manish, I didn't see any blue Ronaldo number 7 shirts coming into the stadium this morning. Of course, yesterday changed everything with this transfer, really, and the mood around the city is pretty obvious in some ways. I mean, you speak to Manchester City fans now, they're not entirely convinced they ever really wanted Cristiano Ronaldo, considering he's at the end of his career, really, and of course his legacy across the city at Manchester United as well. But as far as I understand it, City were interested in signing him. The longer this transfer window went on, the more that interest seemed to grow. Of course, you've talked there about a failed attempt to bring in Harry Kane. They'd looked at other strikers as potential options as well, but for the minute, only Gabriel Jesus is a recognised senior centre forward in the squad. And of course, across Manchester at Manchester United, jubilation. We heard about this beautiful sort of picture of ex-Manchester United players and the ex-manager in Sir Alex Ferguson going on the charm offensive yesterday to try and prize Ronaldo away from the hands of Manchester City. In the end, that proved successful, and the Manchester United fans are absolutely chuffed. I don't think I can use any other word. It's a bit colloquial, it's a Manchester term, but United fans absolutely chuffed that Ronaldo is back at Old Trafford. The City fans, I think, would have found it humorous, though, if he was to turn his back on his legacy there and come here to Manchester City. But yeah, the mood very different on both sides, as I'm sure you understand.
Yeah, and easy to forget, of course, there is a game today, and it's a big one as far as both these teams are concerned. City can go joint top of the table for a few hours at least. For Arsenal, they need to put right successive defeats. So what can you tell us with the team news?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's very hard, really, to escape Cristiano Ronaldo here pitchside at the Etihad Stadium, despite the fact that, of course, he's not involved in this match. In terms of the team news, this is a sentence that is nearly as unlikely as as Cristiano Ronaldo joining Manchester City. Manchester City are unchanged for this game. This doesn't happen very often at all under Pep Guardiola's time here in England. But Gabriel Jesus, like we've been talking about, the only fit senior centre forward in the squad. He'll start once again on the wing, it looks like, for City, with Ferran Torres through the middle. Aymeric Laporte keeps his place at centre-back, despite John Stones being back in the squad for the first time this season. Still no Kevin De Bruyne in the City squad, still out injured. For Arsenal, well, Mikel Arteta is not unchanged, unsurprisingly, for this game. He makes 4 changes from the side who were beaten by Chelsea last weekend. Of course, making a return to the lineup is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who scored a hat-trick in the League Cup this week. He captains the side this afternoon here after, of course, missing the start of the season because of testing positive for COVID-19. A surprising name on the team sheet in Sead Kolasinac as well. He makes his first start since spending last season on loan at Schalke in the second half of the campaign. And Martin Ødegaard makes his second Arsenal full debut here this afternoon after making his move from Real Madrid permanent in the summer. Also a start for Callum Chambers as well. Pablo Mari drops out, Nicola Pepe drops out, Gabriel Martinelli drops out, and also Albert Sambi Lokonga as well.
OK, Ian, thanks very much indeed. Well, that's quite novel from Pep Guardiola. In fact, it's the first time he's named an unchanged 11 at Manchester City since October 2017. Let's have another look at that City lineup. Sean, not entirely surprising, considering what they did against Norwich last time round.
No, I'm not surprised, but I'm also happy as like you said, we know that he likes to tinker with teams and rotate players a lot, but it's nice, especially for players like Jack and Jesus and Ferran, to get a run of games, because for me, like, a lot of players need that run of games to build up confidence and to get to the standard that they want to be at.
For Arsenal, 4 changes, but the first thing that hits you, of course, is the change in formation here.
Yeah, it does, yeah. Kieran Tierney playing outside Kolasinac. I'm not sure about that. Same with Callum Chambers and Suarez, because I think that Arsenal have done their best work with Tierney, obviously, up and